Two 12-year-old girls are being tried as adults in Wisconsin after taking another 12-year-old girl out into the woods and stabbing her 19 times. The victim is in the hospital and recovering. Reportedly, the delinquents were attempting to curry the favor of a fictitious online character, Slenderman, by killing the other girl. That the girls thought that the fictitious Slenderman was somehow real rather than a creation for a fiction-writing website begs one to ask, where's the parenting? I recall when Kev, my youngest son, was growing, at a very early age, I would talk to him about the difference between reality and make-believe, the fantasy world of pretend and the real world of life. Whether it was nursery rhymes, bedtime stories, and moving on to cartoons, video games, television shows, and movies, I would question Kev. I would make sure he knew the difference between what he read or saw in those mediums and his day-to-day existence in the world of the living. I made sure Kev knew the make-believe nature of the Mutant Ninja Turtles, Sonic the Hedgehog, the Power Rangers. I would check up occasionally to make sure Kev had not become lost to a virtual world and remained connected to the world outside the Matrix. I'm sure Kev got sick of Dad, making sure he remained mentally stable and grounded in reality. But it worked. How could two 12-year-old girls think that a fantasy creation on a website could favor them, bless them, if only they killed another? I'm speaking in generalities here, about the majority of children. There are always exceptions. There are always some molds which crack and despite the best efforts cannot be mended. Yes, there are outside influences which can have impacts on our children's lives and thinking. Yes, there are environmental factors which can also reach out and touch our children. But as parents, it is up to us to mitigate or negate those influences as much as we can. Study after study has shown that a child's moral compass, a child's grounding and foundation, occurs at a very young age, from birth to age 5. How a child will develop, interact, and grow into adulthood is formed during those very early years. That doesn't mean that children won't test the limits, won't push against parents and others in authority. Anyone who has had a teenager knows this. But is the cornerstone laid and the foundation poured before age 5, which that teen will return as he or she moves into a stable adult life? Again, there are those exceptions, but this is generally the rule. Information now being reported is that the parents of these girls knew about the fascination with Slender Man. What we have not heard is the parents intervening or checking to make sure that the virtual world had not replaced the real world for these girls. It is alleged that one of the girls' father posted a picture of the girl had drawn a Slender Man on his Facebook page. The signs were there, but these parents apparently ignored those warning signs. Too often anymore, we abdicate our interpersonal relations to online, anonymous personas, usernames, or to communicating via text rather than voice to voice or eye to eye. We must not allow this to also become the way we parent. From the cornfield, we have a societal problem. The old adage is that love begins at home. I would add that who our children are and who they will become also starts at home. There's nothing wrong with make-believe and pretend. That's the seeds of creativity. But we must make sure our children understand the difference.